Choosing your first deck is the most important decision, and unfortunately the least supported aspect, of the game in beta. Before even playing the game, you have to choose which is best for you. But how do you know which is best if you've never played? Hopefully I, an avid alpha player, can help with this by giving you some advice. So please check out the first part of my beginner's guide to Scrolls, if you're unsure of how Scrolls is played, as I refer to some game mechanics in this video. Now, as you're probably already aware, decks are split into three different types: growth, order, and energy. Whilst there are aspects that are unique to each deck has many of the same types or function of scroll. These are resource point generation, which is adding particular resource points to your total; scroll generation, which increases the number of scrolls that you have in your hand; attacking units, who cause damage to your opponent's idols, structures, and units; defensive, healing, and boosting units, who increase the health or attack of other units and structures, or reduce the countdown of others; attacking structures, which, although unable to move, can attack the opposition in some manner; defensive, healing, or boosting structures, which obviously can boost attack, heal, or give added defensive bonus to your units; single target damage spells, multiple target damage spells, and single target enchantments. Now, each of these types will exist in every pre-configured deck. However, there will be slight or massive variations to what their effects are. They may also have a few or a lot of a particular type. So when combined with these particular resources' unique scrolls, they play differently. Some players may never use a particular scroll again once they have played enough to be able to choose a deck build they like, whereas others will be present no matter who is playing and what build they have chosen. So with this in mind, what is peculiar to each resource deck type? What are the characteristics that make that deck type different? It's important to remember that you won't get the most powerful and rare scrolls in your starter deck. These are only acquired through trade, or via the random scrolls, random packs, and just for you scrolls purchasable in the store. The particular strengths of a resource type and the strategies it offers will become more obvious and possible as you gain more scrolls. If nothing else, having 3 of one type of scroll increases the likelihood of it being drawn, and the pre-constructed deck may only have 2, 1, or none of them at all. The first choice of deck that you have is order. I read these descriptives in my previous video, where I showed how a beta may start and what happens when you purchase shards, but I'll do it again as I'll expand on each of these. The game's description for order reads as: military might and tactical positioning are at the root of order. Will you prioritize honor and hierarchy, or enjoy a more devious game, manipulating troops to give your army the edge? The strategy: order is a great choice for cerebral players. Alone, these units may seem weak, but use them wisely and you'll dominate the battlefield. Now, order is certainly all about positioning, hierarchy, and units. It's a deck most balanced between attack and defense. Through the combination of your primary family, your human soldiers, which are infantry, skirmishers, and spearmen units, you attempt to control the board, most specifically the central row. Infantrymen buff other units on the same row. Skirmishers attack opposing units after opposing units to the limit of their attacking ability. And spearmen, whilst able to attack in themselves, create a painful barrier for any opponent wishing to attack back. Combine these with the Honourable General's countdown reduction ability and other strong units in the human soldier family, and you have a powerful unified attack which is difficult to defend against. Defensive structures such as Waking Stones and Obelisk will halt all but the most powerful of attacks, protecting those hidden behind. An order can call upon spells that will improve their own and disrupt an opponent's ability, sending their own units to anywhere in their zone and scattering their opponent's units so that weaknesses can be exposed. The main weakness of order is against ranged and lobbed attacks. It negates the purpose of their most powerful structures and also the spikiness of the spearmen. Ultimately, if order's formations are disrupted in any way, then it takes time for order to recover. The second option you have for your initial deck is energy. The description for energy reads as, energy are ruled by machine priests. They don't do subtle. If it's loud, explosive, and volatile, they'll bring it to the battlefield. In the strategy, these units strike hard. Cannons, contraptions, and direct damage. Energy decks take a bit longer to get warmed up, but get to control the board with hard-hitting spells. Passive aggression is basically the style of energy. Once an opponent is confronted with a seemingly impenetrable row of structures that not only protect the units behind it, but also cause area effect, random or mass damage. The only thing that can reduce morale more is when damaging spells such as Inferno Blast, Thunder Surge, Spark, and Burn are used. The primary family for energy are the Gravelocks. Chief amongst them are the Elders, who boost the attack and health of every other Gravelock you control. The Elders' ranged attack, along with the Scattergunner, automatons, and previously mentioned structures, all mean that an opponent's units can be attacked without ever having left your own zone. Spells, structures, units, and enchantments that trigger abilities upon being attacked directly are all useless against this kind of attack. The weakness of energy, however, as the main descriptive states, it is slow to start. All of the resource types require some form of build-up before they can become truly formidable, but it appears most obvious with energy. The third of the decks you can choose from is Growth. The descriptive for this reads as, Growth units use the power of nature to defeat their foes. Plants, beasts, and the raw brutality of kinsfolk can overwhelm opponents before they have time to organize their ranks. Strategy: this deck will be cheap to play and quick to attack. Nurture your units and they'll grow into weapons of overwhelming power. Synergy is key to mastering the power of nature. Now this describes the aggressive pack mentality of Growth very well. The primary family of Growth are the Wolves. Each wolf in play boosts any Great Wolves that are present, and through the use of their countdown reduction abilities, attacks can be frequent. The second family, the Kinfolk, have their own fast attack abilities, and their Jarl boosts their attack strength when timed right. Attack boost spells and enchantments, as well as impressive countdown reduction spells, all ensure that these attacks can be brutal and often. Other creatures in Growth also increase scroll draws as well as add resources to allow for more scrolls to be played, making Growth possibly the fastest resource to progress to the higher levels. Growth structures are primarily health boosts, whilst the newest addition to Growth, Rats, have their attack boosted by the presence of Junkyard. The main weakness for Growth, however, is that if key units are destroyed, then it loses much of its potency. You could think of this game as an incredibly complex form of scissors, paper, stone. Whilst innumerable factors can contribute to any resource being more than capable of beating any other, Order seems to have particular difficulties against Energy's ranged attacks, whereas whilst Growth's aggressive attacking stance can plough through Energy, it can struggle against Order. Ultimately, the decision to choose one resource deck over another will come down to what feels right for you. By pitting your deck against computer and human opponents, you can build up your own strategy, a stronger deck through gold award within the game, and improve your knowledge of your own chosen resource deck and the others that you face. Of course, you can always, further down the line, choose to buy an alternative deck to experiment with, perhaps even combining two different resource types. Well, this is the end of this guide. I hope that may have helped in some way, and I wish you luck with your future games. Above all, enjoy the experience. Thank you.